Hello, friends, and welcome again into the Alabama Football Report. I am Tom Downey. Our goal, shockingly, is to grow this channel. There's a lot of ways you can do that. You can comment, you can share, you can subscribe, whatever. But today, and the best way for us to grow is to share videos. It gets us in front of new people, new other Bama fans who maybe want to subscribe to us here. So help us out. Help us grow this channel into the next full-time and really one of the few college football channels we have here at Chat Sports. Share today's video so we can keep growing at Alabama Football Report. We begin with the latest on Kevin Steele and his public comments about his return to Alabama for the third time. Very unique career path for one Kevin Steele in his time at Alabama. He was asked at an event, why'd you come back to Alabama? And he had this to say. Well, it's very simple. Obviously, the feeling about it when you've done it this long, you only do things you feel good about. It's the third time. I obviously understood what Coach Saban wants, and the reason is it's Alabama and it's Coach Saban. Without those two things, that probably wouldn't have happened. So to paraphrase the coach speak, he came back to Alabama because he wanted to come back to Alabama. Not really all that much info in there in terms of it's Saban. Nick Saban was the one who wanted him back. That's the real way to go about it there, and it's been a whirlwind career for Kevin Steele as a defensive coordinator / head coach, right? Dating back to 1995, we're missing a lot of previous jobs, by the way. Panthers linebackers coach. Gets the Baylor head coaching job. That didn't go that well. Jumps to Florida State as the linebackers coach. Bama defensive coordinator. Goes over to Clemson. Takes as the associate head coaching title there. Comes back to Alabama, by the way. Gets some defensive coordinator, player personnel, linebacker, kind of a weird hybrid title from that perspective, alongside Kirby Smart, we'll get to. Was just there with Alabama in a role. Takes the LSU defensive coordinator job, goes to Auburn. In between that 2021 timeframe, never actually coached technically. He took the Tennessee defensive coordinator job. Jeremy Pruitt gets fired. He's the interim. They hire the new coach. And then he doesn't get a job. He sits the year out, takes the Miami job, and now comes over to Alabama for a third time. The recent defensive coordinators for the Crimson Tide, Pete Golding. I know many of you are happy he was gone. I get it. Tosh Lupoi was kind of an assistant co-defensive coordinator, so kind of a hybrid overlap there with Jeremy Pruitt, of course, as the former Tennessee, somewhat disgraced head coaching there. And then the new rival, Kirby Smart, was a longtime Bama DC. And yeah, I do think there's some missing of Kirby Smart because he's awesome at what he does. Who can blame him, right? But Kevin Steele now back as the defensive coordinator, his third stint with the Crimson Tide. What is your confidence level in Steele as the defensive coordinator for Alabama? You can be honest with us at the pinned comments of today's show. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, skill it from 1 to 10 at the pinned comment. We'll stick with some more actual football stuff, i.e. non-recruiting, some more recruiting stuff at the end of today's show, but mostly football-focused. How about some Justice Haynes hype? I am excited about Haynes. I don't think he's probably not going to be your week one starter, quote-unquote, but I am very excited to see how Haynes plays, and there continues to be hype and buzz around the true freshman running back. Here's what Matt Zenitz of On3 wrote. He went through a top spring performers. Got a true freshman on the spring performers list. That's pretty darn good. He wrote, Haynes was one of the top stars of the spring at Alabama and closed out with 3 touchdowns in the Crimson Tide spring game back on that Saturday. Even with Alabama being deep at running back, Haynes is positioning himself to be a factor for the Tide as a freshman. I do think this Alabama football team is going to run the football. Tyler Buckner, Jalen Milroe, some of their best traits are running. That's what they can tend to do best. They offer ability in that area. So I think the read option is going to be a valuable aspect, at least it should be, of this Bama offense, and there will be plenty of running back rotation. You will see Justice Haynes. You will see Jace McClellan. You'll see some Roydell Williams. You'll see some Jam Miller. I think this is going to look a little bit more like some of the Alabama years of old, the earlier seasons for Nick Saban, right, when it was Blake Sims, A.J. McCarron, etc. They're going to run the football. And I think Justice Haynes, who has already endeared himself to Nick Saban based on Saban's public comments, is going to get plenty of chances and opportunities to be heavily involved with this ground game. So prediction time. How much are you drinking the Kool-Aid, the red Kool-Aid, for Justice Haynes? Will he lead Alabama in rushing this year? Y for yes, N4No. You can sound off in the comments section. Maybe now for maybe it ends up being good news here. Who knows? The latest on Tony Mitchell, the suspended defensive back for Alabama. His lawyer and his dad think that the legal case is coming down to an end. Here's what Waylon Graham, the lawyer, said for Tony Mitchell in a conversation with AL.com. Tony's very, very sorrowful for what happened. We believe this case is rapidly coming to a conclusion. In case you're, for whatever reason, unaware of what happened with Tony Mitchell, the freshman defensive back, he remains suspended by Alabama after his recent arrest. There was the public comments from Nick Saban about how no one's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that came on the heels of the Bama basketball drama. And I don't think Saban's actually listening to the press conferences, so maybe he didn't know, but kind of was viewed as a shot towards the coaching staff, natives, etc. The police reported claim that he had just under 8 ounces of weed on him, $7,000 in cash, and sped away from cops, clocking him at 141, which is just, mistake compounded by mistake, compounded by mistake. And he's suspended, but still taking classes right now at Alabama, so the door is open for a potential return. He was a fairly touted recruit, number 9 overall safety, a 4-star, number 12 in the state of Alabama. The hope is this is, whether it's on Alabama's football team or somewhere else, this is the wake-up call that, I think you need it when you're carrying that amount of cash and a gun on you and that amount of marijuana. It's just not good decision-making. So hopefully Tony Mitchell learns from this experience and doesn't make these mistakes again in the future, because they're not good mistakes to make. Now, I also don't know if he's going to play this year. Even if everything's cleared legally, he might get a redshirt year anyway. So will Mitchell play this year for Alabama? I think the interest in adding the 2 transfers, Trey Amos and Jalen Key, maybe some insurance. With some transfers, of course, involved. They're leaving, but some insurance here for Mitchell. Will he play? He for play or for he's going to redshirt. We are 164 subs away from 8,000 on our Alabama football channel. I know it's a slow portion of the season, but we want to keep giving you guys more and more Crimson Tide videos. So hit that sub button for more free coverage right here on the Alabama Football Report. Let's talk a brief recruiting update. JUCO offer, which don't happen that often, which does seem significant to me. Tyler Woodard, the former Mississippi State commit, went to the JUCO route instead. He was at East Mississippi Community College. We found the East Mississippi logo. East M. Do better. That is, I get it's JUCO, but yeah, that's just so boring. Just the standard block script M. It's not very good there. Back on the topics that matter. Woodard originally was committed to Mississippi State out of high school, and the Crimson Tide are one of the earlier programs to have an offer out to Tyler Woodard. You don't always see that happen from that perspective, just in terms of where things currently sit and the offers that end up getting made and everything there. So I do think it is relevant, knowing that in the end, there aren't that many schools that, at least Bama doesn't make a bunch of JUCO offers. That's not something that they do. The JUCO is not a big priority for Alabama. Now, they brought some guys in this year. We've talked about Malik Benson a lot, right? But I am very curious to see what ends up happening here with the Crimson Tide. Here's what Woodard said about his Alabama interest so far. I was very excited about the offer. Coach Freddie Roach hit me up, which rhymes oh so well. He said he liked my tape, told him how much I liked Alabama. He told me he would get back to me. He then called me later on to let me know about the offer. He said they really liked my tape, felt like I would be a good fit for the program, and I definitely feel like I can compete with the best. So I think what happened here is this to me reads like Freddie Roach found this guy and was like, hey, we got to get in on this. And we went back to Saban. They checked him out and said, yes, we'll make an offer. Because look at this offer list. It's Alabama. It's Arkansas. Sounds like LSU might be coming soon with an offer. And then it's Louisville, Mississippi State, who offered him initially coming out. But Marshall, Southern Miss, UNLV, Charlotte, UTSA, App State. Alabama's an outlier here. This is the offer list for a 3-star plus Alabama. So this makes me think the Crimson Tide think they found somebody. So we'll keep an eye on how he plays this year at JUCO ball if he ends up committing. But Tyler Woodard, under the radar name, a likely defensive back who clearly drew the interest of the Crimson Tide early on.